Yeah, we're in the middle of getting a new air conditioner as well. Ours died.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
it's
it
30
died.
years.
Like
Yeah,
don't.
it's 30 years old, so
Uh,
it had a good
how
run.
how much is it?
It's probably going to be around 3 and 4, I'd guess, maybe a little less. Because
Okay.
I have a buddy from work.
Nice,
Yeah.
dude. Making connections,
Mm-hmm.
especially in like the construction world, is so crucial
Ew,
because if not, you're getting guys that are unreliable. There's a million companies. You have no idea who to trust. And they
yeah.
give you a number and it's like, that could be good, or I could be getting fucked.
Yeah.
And, or you get three quotes and there's like, someone says 2 grand, someone else is like eight, and the other guy's 12. And you're like, well, I'd like to go with the 2 grand, but no way that works.
Yeah.
And it's just such a big difference. It's crazy. You know what's also super expensive? Blinds for your house.
Really?
Dude, we had a company come quote us blinds. Like, I think I ended up negotiating down with her, but her original quote to do, let's see, we got a small one in the kitchen, normal in the dining, a big one in the dining, big one in the living room, big one in the bedroom. The rest of them are pretty normal size.
Yeah.
So it's probably like, I don't know, 12 to 15 windows total.
Yeah.
16 grand
With
was the original.
what?
Insane, dude.
I thought you
Insane. I
were
was
saying
like,
1600 or something.
no, dude, 16 grand.
For blind,
Insane.
I mean,
And
that,
then I was like, all right, that's crazy. I ended up talking her down. We're not going to do some windows, but it's still like a little over 7 grand
yeah,
for like blinds and install and everything. And so I was at Lowe's and I was shocked at how much theirs were too. I was like, maybe blinds are just super expensive. Like you can get cheap shitty ones, but like to get anything decent, I was shocked. Shocked.
me and Leon were at Lowe's the other day. We were just uh, we got a new toilet flusher thing because ours broke, but
Mm-hmm.
the handle is too long, so it's hitting like the upspout thing. So I think I gotta
Mm-hmm.
go to Ace Hardware or something.
Um, is it like is it the chain is like too long or too short or
No, it's the actual like arm that connects to the chain like hits the thing.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
because the thing has like a lip, and it just will hit that. So it's been yeah. So
Home
the new one I
ownership,
got,
bro.
but I was just pumped because I was able to like get it installed and everything. But now it's like, well,
Good for you, dude. Yeah, no leaking. That's a big step. I'm always terrified when I replace toilets that like I'm gonna flush and it's just gonna have shit water
oh,
go
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't replace the toilet, just the handle. So, but still,
Yeah. But you could do a toilet.
yeah, and it's not working, but it's connected. We were at Arts Fest last night. We saw Ashley.
Yeah, she said she saw you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you go with Maddie?
Yeah, yeah. We met them down there.
Shout out Maddie.
Yeah, shout out Maddie and Tyler.
How was that?
It was a really good time. We walked through all the art once, and then we went to the beer tent, got some food and drinks. Then we mostly played in like the courtyard right in front of the old Capitol building.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the big tree. Then kids were playing tag in there. So Leon just ran around. We chased him, and we had the remote control car too.
Oh,
It
nice.
was chill. Yeah, they were the
Dude, it's gonna be
on top.
sweet when Leon gets into drones.
Oh
And you
yeah,
guys are just gonna be fucking around with drones and
yeah,
stuff.
that's
That's gonna be sweet.
wild. And then me, Katrina, and Leon stopped at the Deadwood on the way out. Then we got a green tea shot, and then left.
Classic.
Oh yeah, I love that
I'm
place.
gl-
He really liked it too, with pointing at all the Christmas lights.
yeah, dude, that place is awesome. Do they still have like the old hockey game and stuff in there, like the bubble hockey or whatever?
Oh,
We used
I don't think so.
we used to go in there and play that game a lot.
Yeah, I know they got the pool tables and
Yeah.
the pinball machines and
Yeah, this was like right on the outside. I think it was like the only game they had in the like bar area, like because
uh,
the rest was kind of in that back
yeah,
spot, you know. So I don't know. We had some good times. It's a cool place.
yeah. I almost don't even remember that at all. Uh,
Was Arts Fest busy?
it was yeah. There was a
Yeah.
good amount of people down there.
Like I'm glad that people go to those things, but also like Fort Collins has some of those things and
Yeah.
stuff. There's just so many people
Oh yeah.
that it's like you can't even really enjoy it, you
Yeah.
know?
It's just like yeah, just
Yeah.
overran.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's
That's
like the good amount of people. You know what I mean? Like it's full, but
yeah,
it's not
for sure.
hectic, and you can still get to where you need to go. And like the lines are crazy long or anything.
Right.
But
Right.
but you definitely got your room.
Um, dude, you know what I was saw the other I was scrolling on Instagram and ESPN put out a post that said this is like the first time in I don't know how many years, like a long time, that two black head coaches have coached the NBA finals.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was like, dude, they're reaching. Like Jason Kidd's not black. I had no fucking idea.
Dude, I think he is. Like, yeah.
I know,
Oh,
I think he is too, but like when I first read it, I was
okay.
like, he's not
No,
black. No way.
no, right.
Yeah, so I was just surprised that I had no idea.
No,
Like this whole
yeah.
time.
No,
I
no,
didn't really think about it that much, but I was still, yeah, it's perplexing.
no, yo, cause I remember in elementary school, he was like maybe like in kindergarten. I was just a big fan of the Nets, and that was like the
Hmm.
first time I realized like what like a light skinned person was.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, okay, that's really interesting.
Huh. Light skin, huh? I
Yeah,
mean, they're also white, right? Like if you're mixed.
yeah.
So why does it just default to black?
'Cause I feel like you're mixed, you're still of color.
Yeah, but so's a tan white person.
Yeah, yeah, but you know, it's like
Like they're colored.
I feel like your features are different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, black is more dominant for sure in like a lot of things.
Like if that makes sense. Like even like your hair a lot of times. But then I was thinking too, there is people that are mixed, but like they lean more like white features, if that makes sense. So it's like straighter hair and just that
Yeah.
type of things. Then the complex.
Yeah, but like they're still like I don't know. It doesn't really matter, I guess.
No, fair. That's
It's just a question. It's
yeah.
just curious.
No, I like that. I like
You know, with all this identity like stuff, you know? What do they want to be?
it. Right,
I mean, you could pick whatever you
there's
want.
they're the perfect example of that in one Atlanta episode.
In what episode?
In Atlanta,
I've I've never watched that show.
it's one of the best shows I've probably watched.
What's
Maybe
it on?
it's on Hulu, and the first episode has one of my favorite scenes comedically in anything. There's just
Really?
this, yeah, no spoilers, but there's just this one scene where Danny Glover is in jail, and just the whole interaction he has while he's in like the holding cell is one of my favorite scenes in anything. And it's the first episode.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, yeah, I highly recommend. It's like a 26-minute episodes too, so it's quick,
Oh, those are
and it's
nice.
just a really just well done show.
Yeah.
And some of the episodes are like really good, like almost like hard to watch at times, and like he hits on some good stuff.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I've heard good things about it. I don't think I've ever watched shows on Hulu really.
Oh yeah. Well, it was on FX, and Hulu had FX, so
Uh,
yeah, and FX had some good shows too. But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's dope. Yo,
Nice, man.
something, yeah, something that's exciting. This is the last recording. Well, the last planned recording I will be doing on the iPhone
Oh,
because
there you go. There you go.
yeah, yeah, 'cause you got the new MacBook Pro. It's so
Yeah.
sick. I love
Would
it.
you the did you get like the top of the line one or middle of the road?
So a little bit of both. I did some research and looked for refurbished MacBooks and found this
Yeah.
one place called Mac of All Trades, and they have like
That's a great name.
yeah. I was like, oh, that's a good one. But they have like all Mac products, and they had some of the 2019 models that have like it's got like this strip up here that's like a touchscreen thing, and it like
Hmm.
adapts to different. Like it always changes if you're on a website and things. And
Oh,
I
that's
really
nice.
like that, yeah. And then it's got the extra speakers, so it's like one of the top ones from 2019, and it was only
Nice.
700 something, and that's with a year warranty. So
Dang, the 1 year warranty too? That's awesome.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
and
anything was an upgrade over what you've got now.
yeah, I got the 2009.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, and it's still
That's
it's still
crazy.
going. It's still going.
That's so.
Yeah,
I
but like
can't
it
believe
has
that
to
thing
be
still
plugged
works, dude.
in, and like we
Yeah.
swapped out the battery and memory so many times. It's like it's not closed all the way, so like the keyboard's like almost warped a little bit, but it still works fine for checking email and stuff and typing.
Yeah. Hey, that's funny. That
Yeah,
is
but
funny.
I feel like if it was like 7 years ago, I mean, one, I wouldn't have even had the extra money to like afford like a new computer, but I feel like I would have bought a brand new one that I couldn't really have afforded. And I was just
Yeah.
thinking about that and just how you hopefully get better at budgeting. And that's one thing that I've just been working on hard like the last two years has been
What do you guys?
getting the
What do you
finance.
guys do for budgeting?
I mean, I kind of just see what do we do for budgeting. Well, we know when all the bills come out, and then we just kind of like reconvene on Sundays. I'll look up like the bills for the week, and I know she has spreadsheets because she's a wizard at Excel,
Yeah.
and I kind of just have when bills are due in a notebook, and that's kind of it. So yeah. So let me rephrase. I haven't been budgeting over the last 2 years. I've just been a lot better with my money, but now I want to just
Yeah.
evolve that to where like I know what everything is gonna look like, and I know like what to spend and when and such.
Yeah. Do you have all your bills and stuff on auto pay?
I have all of them, but the mortgage just because I just like to do that at the yeah.
What?
So all of them
Okay.
but
I mean,
one.
yeah. Yeah.
But
That's yeah. I mean, we pretty much have all of ours on auto pay. Um, I've probably been budgeting with like a spreadsheet since I think I've used the same spreadsheet since like 2015 or 2016.
yeah.
And we've there was a period of time where we didn't really do it because we were making enough money to cover our bills and like our savings and investing plan, and we still had some money left over. It was like a good spot to be in, and we
Hmm.
weren't really like sure what to do. So we just knew we knew we were covered, so we stopped. And then I think we had some other bill come up, and it was like all of a sudden things were starting to get tight again. It was like, yeah, let's just get back to it. Like, so we break everything down on a monthly basis. Um, it helps Ash a lot more than me, mostly because I check the accounts all the time,
Hmm.
you know? So, like, I see what's coming in, what's coming out, where all of our accounts are set up, but Ash doesn't do that. So, for her, it's nice to have, like, you guys sit down and go through it on Sunday, maybe, like, where your stuff's at.
Yeah.
And so we probably do it mid-month and at the end of the month. Like basically I'll go through all of our accounts and break it all down and say, hey, here's where we're at right now, right? Like we've spent way too much money in the beginning of the month on just random shit, going out to eat, buying shit for the kids, um, anything like that. And then so we'll get a game plan together for the rest of the month, and then we'll circle back at the very end, see how we did, and then so like I'll track our month by month,
Okay.
like income and expenses, so then I can compare and say like the last, just a quick snapshot, right? The last 3 months we've done terrible, or we've done a really good job, you know,
Mm.
or we've profited. Like I run it like a business, right? Run the household like the business. So I have budgeting for our personal, but then I also have budgeting for the business that I'm working on right now too. So I do kind of both at the same time, and they both are operating similarly,
Yeah.
right? Where it's you're just tracking the same things. It's budgeting was huge for us. There's so many different ways to do it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
But I definitely have some questions on that. So, do you like write down everything you spend, or do you go like look back in the accounts and then write it down?
yeah, so like I've done the automatic ones, right? Where you link, like Mint
Oh.
Mobile had one or whatever, you know?
Mhm.
And I just didn't, I'm pretty type A. Katrina probably is, would agree that like you just don't have as much control over like categories and seeing stuff.
Oh
And it
yes.
almost like that got a sense of automation to where it really didn't hit home as
Mm-hmm.
much as like, dude, when you have to punch in all the numbers about how much you're fucking spending, it hits harder, much harder. You're like,
Yeah.
oh
Oh yeah.
God, we're putting in a lot of transactions here, you know? And so I've tried that stuff. I've just always reverted back to like, did I go one by one? So we've got our personal checking, personal savings. We've got a high yield savings account. We've got, and then two credit card accounts. So I'll go through like our personal checking one, and I'll just go line item by line item. Like any income, I'll plug in the income, and then the expenses, I'll put it in for whatever category it's in. Um, and then I'll do that for the credit cards and all of that. So that's how I that's how I do it. It takes time for sure, but like I said, it makes me more conscious of exactly how much I'm spending.
Yeah. 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 I like that. I'd say the most I do is I just like write down how much I'll make, and then subtract the bills before the next paycheck. See what's left over, and then just kind of guesstimate ish, if that makes sense. Like I know I'll spend this much on
Sure.
groceries and this much on personal, and that's about it.
Do you get paid twice a month or once a month or weekly?
Twice a month.
Twice a month. So like all I break down, so all the categories in my Excel spreadsheet are like they're all projected numbers, and a lot of them don't move, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
you figure out, right, we're going to spend this much on groceries each month. We're going to spend this much on our mortgage, our vehicle payments, insurance. So all of our fixed costs are in there. Here's how much we want to save, right? That's the expense too. So we want to put this into investing accounts. So like that gets plugged in.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure out, all right, do we have any trips coming up or any like items? Like, do we have a big purchase? Are we buying a new couch or whatever, something for the backyard, right?
Sorry, a little BTS here. I need to charge my phone and grab a drink.
There you go. Um, so I guess in a way I'm doing the same thing, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
your, because your income's probably pretty stable right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, that's really it, is really figure out what are your living expenses first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
What do you want to save and invest? And then on top of that, whatever's left, you can kind of do whatever you want with it. You could
Yeah.
save more, you can invest more, you could go out to eat more, you can do stuff with your friends and family, save it for a trip. Like
Yes.
there's a lot of people that, like you need to save every single dollar, and it just depends on how you want to live your life from a budgeting standpoint, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I'm kind of to the point. I mean, not the point, but right now, I just need to just kind of chill for a bit, pay off the credit card some, and yeah, that's kind of all. Because I have like a certain percent out of each paycheck just goes into a account,
Yeah.
and one thing that is kind of bad is it's just like I'm able to withdraw from that account. So
Hmm.
there's mostly like 2 to 3 times a year I'll pull from it to cover like just something random. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So that's always kind of frustrating. And then I'm good with my credit card. Like my credit score is good, and I feel like the highest my numbers always get to is like 1,300 or something. So not like crazy credit card numbers, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's still just frustrating.
All of our so we pay for everything that we're allowed to pay for with a credit card, like in all of our ancillary spending.
Oh yeah.
Like nothing comes out of our checking account unless it has to, or if I think Ash's like Target card is associated with it, but
Mm-hmm.
she gets like 5% discount on stuff, so it offsets the rewards you get from using your credit card,
Oh yeah.
right? So, I mean, I've we've been doing that for probably the same amount of time,
So
and then each month, yeah, go ahead.
so you put like everything on there, like bills and stuff, and then just pay them off at the end.
Froze. I didn't hear your question.
Oh, so what do you all put on your credit card? Like bills, grocery stuff.
Yeah, it's mostly like, yeah, like if the bill payment, like utility payment company will let us, right? Like we'll do that. I think the main stuff that comes out of just our checking is like mortgage and car payments. I think the rest of it is all credit card. And then, yeah, all of our grocery spending, everything
Oh,
is all credit cards.
and then at the end of the month you have like a biggish bill, but you know exactly how much it's gonna be.
Right. So, like, if we're sticking to our budget, right? If I'm tracking on our budget spreadsheet and we're on track, like, I know our expenses are going to be, I know what my credit card payment's going to be every single month, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes it'll get bigger, but I've already established that. Like, I'm not caught off guard, right? I knew we did a
Mhm.
bad job spending. So,
Yeah.
there's, so each month then I'll pay off my statement balance, right? And so it's kind of comes to be like a cash flow thing, right? Where if your income's stable, it's not really a problem. But if you
Hmm.
have a variable income, it can get hard because you can struggle to make a payment as it kind of your spending stacks up because it's all kind of delayed, right? Um, but yeah, I mean that's what we've been doing. So we pretty much that's our bill, right? But it can get out of hand really fast, which is why I tag it with the spreadsheet budgeting.
Oh yeah.
Because then, because then I'm already like aware of where we're at spending wise. So I don't
Yeah.
get this, all right, we're planning for 4 or 5 grand, right, of a credit card bill, and then all of a sudden it's 6 or 7, and you're
Yeah.
like, I now I can't make that payment, right? And so, or you got to pull out of savings to make that payment, and causes more stress, frustration, or whatever. So, staying on top of it from you know, for a while there, I think we did do like a weekly, like before we had Frankie. It was
Yeah.
neither of us were making as much money, so we were tighter. And so I think we sat down every weekend and I just took however long to just re-put it in and say, hey, here's where we're at. We can only spend this much money this week to get back on track.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. Thinking
I
about that like just gives me so much anxiety because I don't have a set like because I don't know the numbers like that. So just imagining just seeing my credit card bill just in one thing would freak me out.
it's it's different though because think about it this way, like you're seeing your credit card bill go up, but your bank account also looks better at the same time.
Oh yeah, true, true, true. Yeah,
So
and
if you look at your credit card and you're like, I got 2,500 to 3 grand in there, and then you look at your checking account, you're like, okay, cool, but I got 4 grand in here.
oh
Like that
yeah,
hasn't been just like getting chopped down, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I would recommend one or the other, right?
Mhm.
If don't budgeting gets very hard the more complicated you make it, right? If you've got
Yeah,
2 or 3 credit cards and a couple different accounts and you're spending money from one and this, like I just got my debit card reissued. I haven't had a debit card for 3 years.
really.
Yeah. But there's a
That's
bar we go to where it's like a pool hall and they're cash only.
hmm
And so I would go with my buddy, like we probably go once every couple months there.
yeah,
But it got annoying enough. I was like, I just need to go get a debit card so I can pull
yeah,
cash out, right? But I mean, that's it. Otherwise, it's just credit card spending or automatically linked bank accounts. Um,
yeah. That's
so
nice.
that would be a big, if you want to make the switch, just do it. Don't half-ass get stuck in the middle because it'll overcomplicate it.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like where you're at is like a few notches up because I'm not at the point yet where like I would know like I need to have a few months or maybe even a year of just doing my budget and knowing what that number is before I were to switch things over to credit cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you, I'm assuming you and Katrina are on separate bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Have have you thought of, are you able to get like a joint account
Um,
because you're not married?
I'm not sure, and I know for a while she was with like school payments and stuff. I was like, I'm not hitching my credit to your. I was like,
The truth comes out, dude. The
yeah,
truth comes out.
I was like, I don't know
Oh,
about this. Yeah.
dang, dude, that's bogus, dude. No, it's smart. So as long as you guys have like a good system for who pays for what, that's not really a problem. But I mean, I can send you the spreadsheet I use. There's probably better ones out there, but I've just gotten familiar with it.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Um, but I would encourage you go back through your last 3 months.
Oh yeah.
Like start with your bank statements from the last 3 months and track everything.
Can you start me writing a note here? Yeah, and I'll do that. And what we do now is um I pay for all the bills, and then at like the Sundays, I'll let her know how much everything was, and she just sends me the money.
So you're gonna want to track that as income, right? Like when you're looking at it. So we're doing Jesse's like personal budget right now, right?
Yeah,
So everything that comes out of your account. So don't like take, well, we paid $100 for electricity and I'm just gonna put my expenses half. That'll overcomplicate it. Like track everything to the letter, right? If you're whatever your utility bills were, even if Katrina's paying half, that's your full expenses, but then you'll make up for it when you input the income that she gave you.
oh,
Does that
okay.
make
So
sense?
keep it like minus the full number, and then add her
Yep,
half as income.
yep,
Okay.
yep. So yeah, you don't want to you want to make it as least complicated as possible, and you want it to match your bank statements as close as possible. And
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
start to figure out what categories you really want to track. Like how tight do you want to get everything? Like we have a grocery budget and then we have like a food and entertainment. It's just like
Mhm.
a fun category, right? I don't know how much of that is eating out, like exactly, versus how much is we went to the movies versus how much I went and played around a golf, you
Oh
know?
yeah.
But it all just kind of gets lumped into there
I
because it
like
would,
that. I like that.
yeah. And so,
Yeah.
like, in the moment, right? Like when you're inputting the numbers, you're going to be able to say, hey, we spent way too much money eating out. But looking back
Mhm.
2 months before that, you're not going to have any idea, right? You're just going to say,
Mhm.
hey, our miscellaneous and entertainment was too high or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so you'll start to like kind of tweak what stuff you want to track in more depth and what stuff is cool just kind of getting lumped together as a general expense.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I like that.
And then you could also in this budget, like anything that's a reoccurring expense, like a bill's due on the 27th,
Hmm.
just you can add a note in there and then kind of like you have your notebook, but get it out of your notebook and actually
Oh
have
yeah.
it in this tracker sheet.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. It's gonna be super helpful.
Yeah, so that dude, that's been super helpful to me. I know there's like really extreme budgeting stuff, but it doesn't sound like you guys are responsible, so it's not you don't need to have like the Dave, I don't know if Dave Ramsey had said this or not, but like the cash envelope method
Ooh,
where you
one.
so I think I could be wrong. I've never used it, but I know some people that have really like benefited from it. Um, it's basically what you do, but instead of just in your head, you actually get it out of your accounts. So you say, we have this expense for mortgage, this expense for a car, this expense for utilities, and you take all that cash out of your bank account at the beginning of the month or on a weekly
Oh
basis or
yeah.
whatever, right? And then you pay for stuff with cash, right? It's like, hey,
Mm.
we're going to budget ourselves $100 to go out to eat this week. And you pull it out with cash. And once it's gone, yeah, you can't go out to eat anymore, right?
Mm. Mm.
So there's definitely a benefit to it, but if you're good enough with your expenses, like it's just more steps that you probably don't need to take.
Yeah, and it's really the things that kill me is like after the gym, they'll be like, "Oh, we need milk," and one other thing, and I go to the store multiple times instead of going once and spending $100. I'll go like three times and spend $40 each time. It's not,
Every single time,
that,
dude. You go to the grocery store for something that's $5 and you spend 20 every single time.
yeah.
And and you probably grab something like you don't need from like I do this, right? Like, oh, that looks good. Like I'll grab that. Maybe it's muffins for tomorrow's morning. Like I don't need muffins for breakfast tomorrow, but like I'm just gonna pick them up because they were on
Yeah,
my
that
way
always
out of the
helps.
store, you know?
Yo,
Um,
or it's like, oh man, those do look good. Like I've been good. I'll get a bag.
so I need to do that similar concept from a like dieting standpoint, you
Yeah.
know? Like I need to prep my meals, prep like a lot more stuff because I am running around so much during the day that like I just get in a lazy habit of now I just go stop it and
Yeah.
maybe I'll go to the grocery store to like get something to eat, but then I get other stuff every single time,
Uh, yeah. Do
you know?
you? Yeah. Are you able to eat the same thing like every day for lunch, or would you get sick of that?
If I had a chef that could cook me like three variations of the same shit, I'd be totally fine.
Okay. Yeah, because I
I'm not
mean,
a I'm not a foodie. Like I don't like I love good food, I guess, but I don't it
no.
doesn't fascinate, which also frustrates me because I can't control myself with like if shit's there, like I'll eat it, but
Oh.
I'm not, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Especially with like For me, I mean, it's like bread and pasta and that kind of stuff. Like we had
Dude,
this big
grain
thing of garlic bread the other night, and I just
gone. See
kept
you
going
later.
back, tearing off a piece, like multiple times, and then I close it up, come back, open it back up, and tear out a
Dude,
piece.
it's oh, yeah, dude, it's bad. And so I have a lot better self-control in the grocery store than I
Mhm.
do like at home, right?
Oh
So,
yeah,
but from like a financial standpoint,
yeah.
I would I would try to we've done this before too, and we probably need to get back to it, but it's like what's the foods that you eat like all the time, right? Like milk and this and that. Pay attention to how often you're having to go back to the store to get that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can figure out, okay, we need a gallon of milk a week,
Yeah.
right? And so you can go to the grocery store as a family on Sunday morning or Saturday or whatever day works for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you get 90% of your weekly like food just on a weekly basis. So you don't have to go back to the store.
Yeah, yeah. Me and Leon we went to Aldi's last Saturday and spent like 115, and at Aldi's that's a lot of food.
Yeah.
And we still have stuff that's unopened, like some freezer food and some things.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
just so much more efficient. And then I think I went to the store once this week to get like a protein bar and maybe like some fruit he needed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. I think that helps us out a lot. Like when we can schedule like a set time. It's harder with two kids because the kids make grocery shopping
Oh
like miserable most of the time, you know?
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
so it's much easier and quicker if like just one person goes and gets what we
Mhm.
need, right? Instead of because the more time you spend in the store, the more money you spend on shit you don't really need.
Yup. Yeah.
You're browsing the aisles, you're like, oh, we
Oh,
could do this, we could get this, and
yeah.
so no, that's good. I think I think getting like first steps for you would be that, right? Like going back through all of your old expenses for the last 3 months and break that down on a monthly basis, and you can see where you're at. Then you can
Hmm.
see where you want to make tweaks to it, right?
Hmm.
If it's like, all right, this is pretty consistent, we've been doing good, or we're all over the map on spending for this. And
Yeah.
let's try to just set a budget and stick to it. And then you can break down the like grocery stuff, right? Specifically. Okay, how can we put a plan together for groceries? It's really just comes down to being intentional with the stuff you're doing and
Hmm.
paying attention to it, you know?
Yeah, I found one thing I find myself doing when I'm on a good run is I check my bank account every morning just to look at it,
Mm-hmm.
just to have it in my head.
Yeah. I check my accounts
Yeah,
all the
because I
time.
just heard that. Yeah, yeah. Ty Lopez said that he's like the first thing I do is check my bank account and just look
Yeah.
everything over, just so it's more intentional too. And then I find like over the weekend sometimes I don't check and I'll just go like to Hy-Vee here, order some pizzas for dinner, go grab some beers, and then on Monday I'm like, oh man, I spent $80 this weekend, or like $100 just on
Yeah.
nonsense, kinda.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It makes a huge difference. And when for me, when I'm inputting like when I know I'm slacking, I go back to like, okay, I'll input my stuff more on a weekly basis, right? So the
Mhm.
more attention I want to pay to it, the more frequently I look at it, right? It goes back to what you just said, right? Looking at your bank account every day. And then from there, it's top of mind. So like yesterday I went golfing. I paid for a cart, then I got 2 beers and I bought some balls. I didn't really need the beers or the balls and like all that stuff.
Mhm.
If I had been paying attention to my expenses and already thought like, all right, I can go golfing, but like I don't need to spend extra money on shit I don't really need. right? I probably wouldn't have
Yeah,
bought that
yeah,
stuff. So I knew I was spending money here, but don't need to add insult to injury, right?
yeah, yeah. I like that a lot. That's one thing that I've been trying to do. Like, I mean, even like in small ways, like before we go out for dinner, like, hey, let's have two drinks at home or something. Or
Yeah,
on vacation, I had the bottle of rum and a Coke, and just take pulls instead of buying drinks all day and stuff.
100%. Yeah.
And it kind of makes things fun too sometimes. Tomorrow we're going to like a big tractor car show thing in Kelowna, and they're gonna have food there. But it's also fun to like pack lunches and stuff, and then plan
Oh
to
yeah.
be like, okay, we'll get a dessert there, or we'll get one thing there instead of buying a whole meal with drinks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I know as kids get older, like Marshall doesn't ask for shit. He's 2.5. Leon's probably the same way. Like they don't, maybe toys they'll ask for, but like they're not bad. But as they get older, they like Frankie wants more things, right? So she'll see like popcorn or a corn dog or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, I want that." But she also loves having picnics. So what we'll do sometimes, we're not always good at it. Rarely are we good at it actually. But what I've noticed is if we're like, hey, let's have a picnic today for lunch. We'll go to this event, but like we'll have a picnic. And then when she says she wants this stuff, it's like we don't need that. Like we brought food for a picnic. Let's go have a picnic. And she was like,
Mm.
"Oh yeah, I forgot. We're gonna have a picnic, right?" And so then you can gear her towards stuff that is exciting to them, but it also helps you save money.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's a good tip. I'm gonna use that. Yeah, and it's just fun to find ways to save money if you make it almost into like a not like a game, but you're having fun finding deals on things and be like, oh, let's go eat at this restaurant because they're having deals on this day.
Yeah,
It just
I'm con-
opens things up too.
I'm convinced that your couponers, the people that are
Mhm.
obsessed with coupons, it's a game to them. How much money
Right?
can I
Yeah.
save going into this store? You know? And if
Yeah.
you, I think, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have talked about it, but Alex Hormozy talks about it like gamify life and stuff like that, right?
I
Like
don't
it's all just,
continue.
it's, if you just gamify life, it makes it more, I guess, enjoyable or fun. Like, especially if you're a competitive person or kind of a type A person, right? You always are trying to gamify everything that you do.
Oh, okay. I think I do this, but I've never heard the term like this. I like that.
Right, right. It's exactly what you're talking about, right? Just, okay, how can I find the best deals, right? You hate going to buy a new car. Let's say you need a new car, but you're like, I gotta deal with the salesman. They're gonna want to negotiate and do all this, right? Well, if you gamify it and make it fun, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna get the best deal possible. I'm gonna walk out of there, like have confidence in yourself on negotiating and all this, right? It makes the experience so much more fun when you're not when you don't feel like somebody else has the upper hand or control over the situation, and you tell yourself that
Hmm.
you want like what do you want to get out of it, right? Like no, this is I I guess I don't know how to like articulate it super well, but that's kind of the basis I'm going for, right?
Let's say I'm looking for a car, as you just said, and I know what I want. I know I want a four doors, all wheel drive, V8 in black, and I'll listen to a salesman's whole dumbass sales pitch, and then be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh no, thank you." Like I know what I want. Like I
Yeah,
know exactly what I want. But like I'll listen to you. Like I'm not gonna be rude. I'll hear whatever you have to say. But unless you just sway me, which I don't think you will, because I know what I want, I'm gonna go in this
yeah,
direction, and that's just kind of how it's gonna be.
right. It's a competition. It's like I know what I want. I know what it's worth. I know what I'm willing to pay, and you're either going to give it to me for that or I'll walk away and go somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of creating little competitions with everything that you do. And it could be with yourself too, right?
Hmm.
Internal comp. like how long can I go? Like if you're struggling with not eating desserts or sweets or let's say carbs in
Yeah.
our instance, right? It's like I'm gonna take one bite of this and I'm gonna challenge myself. I'm not gonna have any more of this garlic bread,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right? Just
Yep.
like I'm gonna beat my own mind in this situation.
Yeah.
Eating one piece of garlic bread's not gonna kill you,
Yeah.
but you're gonna end up eating the whole loaf. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna
And
take
it's
one
hard to
bite and
stop
that's it.
stuff too.
Yeah. So just like little tests and competitions, I think can kind of make things a little bit more fun, right?
Oh, yeah, and not to switch. Well, I guess to switch off budget, but still numbers wise, I use that in like exercise and like health a lot. I think of myself as like a UFC fighter, and once or twice a month I have weigh-ins. So I always try to eat well at lunch, Monday through Friday. I said this before, but I eat the same thing every day, and then I mostly don't eat a snack at night, but there's some nights where like I'm gonna have 10 cookies or something. But then if it's so I'll have a week where I know I'm going to weigh myself on Friday morning before work. So that whole week I treat it like a fight week, and I eat just extra clean. I go to the gym in extra time, and then I'll make sure on Thursday I don't eat that much snacks because I'm gonna weigh in, and then I weigh in that Friday, and that's like my fighting weight. Then let's say it's like 225, empty stomach, and then I know that I'll weigh in the next day at like 230, 232 with food in me, and that's my normal weight, if that makes sense. But I keep track of like the fighting weight,
I
and it
love
just makes
this.
it more fun.
I, dude, I love this concept. I'm gonna have to start implementing that because I'm like that was the big reason I signed up for my marathon,
Oh yeah,
last
yeah.
year was I needed something like a true objective with like a set timeline, right? Just like you said, like a fighter's they got to weigh in at this time in order to compete, right?
Yeah.
And that was huge. If I don't have something like that, I struggle, you
Yeah,
know?
it's hard. Like since the Miami trip, like, a week and a half since I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna take a summer break and not go out of my way to eat bad, but I'm just gonna eat kind of like more what I want to.
Yeah.
And it was fun, but then towards the end it's like, okay, I need to get back on track. And then I did the same thing over Christmas break. Like, just eat whatever I want, and then on holidays I go crazy too. So it's just easy
Hmm.
just to maintain the clean eating, but you still allow yourself to indulge. You know what I mean?
For sure. For sure. Do you feel like the Miami trip was motivating for you? Like it was a good reset? Because you know how sometimes you go on vacation and you feel like you're like, "Ugh, I just don't want to go back to like the grind and stress, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
But then there's some trips you go on where you're like, cool, that was like a good breather, but now like I'm ready to go, right? Do you
I
feel like
guess
it was
I'm in
more
the
of the
camp of
second one?
like I'm in the camp of wow, that was so much fun. I could live like that in another like world, but that is just not sustainable. I want to go back there next year for sure, and maybe even for longer. So I want to work to be able to get to that point. So it's definitely motivating
Yeah, yeah, that's
and
awesome.
bittersweet at the same time because I'm missing it, but I'm working towards going back.
Hmm.
So it's good.
There's a purpose.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've, right now, because for me, once, like, I started the business, right? And I was working with like a finance person to kind of. I got recommended by a contractor I work with, and this lady, she was good, so she kind of helped me with some tips and tricks. But
Oh yeah.
she was like, "Wow, you're from like for like a young business owner." She's like, "You do a really good job of paying attention to finances and budgeting and all that, you know."
Oh yeah.
And I'll contribute a lot of that to the fact that like we've been doing it on the personal side of things for a long time, right? And
Oh yeah.
so it helps like transition you to the business side of things. Yeah, in a large business, it can get really complicated and you want accountants, but the basic principles are the same, right? Money
Mhm.
in, money out, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so that was good. And right now, my big thing with budgeting is twofold. Like we bought the house, so we've got like a bigger expense. So budgeting that in there. But then on the business side, I'm trying to figure out hiring a new employee.
Mhm.
And so trying to figure out what level do I want to bring them in. If it's a senior level engineer, you have to pay them a lot more money. So how much revenue would they need to generate in order to make to have them come in and not just start hemorrhaging money from their salary standpoint?
Oh
And then
yeah.
same, so there's that, but then there's also we want to bring in a staff engineer, which is a younger engineer, like right out of school,
Mhm.
and pay them a decent salary, but they're not going to generate really any money. Like they're not going to bring clients in, so it's not going to be like this
Mhm.
day one, bam. And there's
Yeah.
usually it's like 6 to 12 months before they're really like up to speed
Mhm.
and running things. And so figuring out how that's going to impact our cash flow and all of that. So that's a big thing that I'm working on the business side of things right now. Um, but I wanted to get your take because we've got our office space, right?
Yep.
And but I don't like when you walk in, there's a couple chairs and then I just put like a bookshelf that's got some merch on it. So there's not a reception desk or anything because I haven't needed one.
Yeah.
And then inside, like the office is kind of set up, but not really, right? Like it's a startup office
Yeah.
basically. So it's not bad, but it's not great. So I'm thinking, all right, I've got equipment that they're going to need to come in, but also like what do I need to do from an office standpoint? What do I need to do from an operation standpoint to attract and like have people have a good experience coming into the company? So I've only had one job before this. So I was wondering from your standpoint, like what do you think like what attracts you to certain companies, right? Like what do you need to do as an employer to attract like good employees? And maybe you can
Yeah.
just speak from like your experiences. So I just wanted to pick your brain on that.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one, and I'll have some more answers for the next episode too. But this is gonna be just off the top here.
Yeah.
Um, there's one shop that we delivered to where their workers are always just happy to be there. They work longer hours some days, and like they're very flexible. And I'm like, damn, these people are happy. And the last time I delivered to their shop, I was walking through and saw that they have like a locker room area where all their employees have like a full locker, and there's a shower in there too, like a nice changing area. And they're basically so I asked one of the workers about it. Then they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, management built this in case like we're ever on a job late or something, we can change here and go directly to where we need to go." So
Huh.
they're almost not encouraged, but it makes it easier for them to work longer or get to work earlier. So I'd say things that make it easy to have a work life balance and just kind of a relaxed environment too, maybe.
Like
But
a place you wanna be. Like a place
yeah,
where
yeah, just a
it's
cool
maybe
space.
not it's maybe not an escape of like your home life, but
Yeah,
it's a place that you actually enjoy going to, right?
yeah, yeah. Like have a TV on that just have like ESPN on all day or something,
Right,
and
right.
maybe have some beers in the fridge just for like can have a sign that says for 4 p.m. or just have them in there and people know. Because in our
Yeah,
warehouse we have a fridge, and the salesman will bring us beer and just come and drop it off. And the drivers are off at 4. The warehouse crew is off at 4:30, and it's mostly on like Fridays and some Thursdays and stuff. At
sure.
4, there's not like a written rule management knows, but we'll just go and just crack beers and just have like a few beers,
Yeah,
and it's
just
just
hang
like
out.
yeah, and it's just like a hang. And there's some days where I've been off at like 4, but we're gonna have some beers, so I'll stay till 4:30 and just hang. So making it feel like kind of a hangout too would be is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I no,
But
I
I'd say
agree.
I'm sorry, but I'd say the biggest thing is just like that I can remember is the interviewers just felt like nice people. I remember our our CEO had a Dwight Schrute, a bobblehead, and like other just cool like personal things around. So it
Yep.
feels like you're allowed to bring your character into the company, if that makes sense too.
Yeah, yeah. Encouraged to be like yourself.
Yep.
I like that. Speaking of
Yeah.
interviews, what questions, like from an interview process, like have you come across any like really good questions and stuff? Like unique ones that people have asked you that you're like, oh damn, like
I mean, nothing too good. I'm just gonna go over some like what's the hardest thing you've gone through of a job, the easiest. Or I like questions where it's like, are you willing to stay late, or what's the most you'll be willing to do to get a job done, or
yeah,
where do you if you come here, what things will kind of change in a few months? And I'm gonna piggyback on that by saying one thing I said in my last interview, which I'll say in every interview, is yeah. I mean, it seems like a cool place to work. I wish we could fast forward maybe 6 months to 2 years, so you could see just the impact I'll have on this place, just with my vibe and my energy. But you can't. But I will be back in 6 months to be like, hey, remember that conversation we had? Just if you could do that reverse. So if you could be like, I wish we could fast forward like 1 year from now. I just know that you'll be here enjoying everything. You'll have some new friends, and you will be. This will be your thing. But I just wish that you could see it now, because I can see it. It's just that type of thing. Just like very passionate about being like, oh, like I will make things happen. I will change
yeah,
things in a positive way, and you're gonna see it, and I can't wait to show you.
that's awesome. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I've been working with the engineer that's working with me right now, and he's a young guy,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to get him to visualize like his future, like dream more, right? It doesn't have to be like engineering or whatever. Like, what do you want your life to look like in 5, 10 years? And he gave some answers, and I was like, dude, we could get to that point in a year. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like think bigger, like dream bigger, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I even get caught up in it, and I'm trying to. It's kind of a skill that I've been working on, right? Being able to
Mm-hmm.
see the future like clearer and clearer. And yeah, it might change, priorities might shift, this, that, and the other thing, but having a clear vision of where you want to go. Like I see the type of person that can come in and be successful, and I see the impact that they could have in their own life and for our business.
Mm-hmm.
What I can't see is how do I? interview and attract talent in a way to bring that person in.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? And I
yeah,
know that I'm not alone and people struggle in how to bring in the right people, right? It's probably the hardest thing you do in business is keep getting and retaining the right people. Um,
yeah. I feel like a big thing about it too is just being just extra human, like being yourself. Been asking them fun questions too, like so we're almost not done with the interview here, and just so you know, on Fridays or whatever day you be like, so just so you know, on most days here, if we've had like a solid day, we have happy hour around 5. What are your thoughts on that?
yeah,
Just that kind of thing, and then if
yeah,
they're like, oh yeah, that'd be sweet, and we're like, yeah, it's a fun time, just like leaning into like that stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like we're here to work, but like you also, we're normal human beings that like to have a good time. We want to have fun. We're going to be doing this for a long time. And yeah,
And I don't know like what PTO thing to, but even leaning into that being like, hey, like you have these PTO days, and I hope you use them every day. Like, or I hope you use them every year. And if you ever need just a day to do whatever, or if you don't want to work and you just want to stay home and watch TV all day, just use one of your days. Like, please, just being
yeah,
like real, like just human and just real with them.
yeah, yeah. Understanding where people are coming from, understand their situation. I think the benefit
Yeah,
is
like
I'm not too far removed from being like a young engineer at a company, right? So
yeah.
sometimes sometimes you have project managers or guys that they've been doing it for 30 years, right? They're so far removed and they're interviewing young kids that the culture is wildly different, right?
Oh yeah.
And they're not able to connect with them. They don't understand the different priorities and mindset shifts and all that kind of stuff. Um, so I do think that I do have a benefit from that standpoint. But yeah, it's just right now that's been a big top of mind topic for me is getting to that standpoint.
Yeah, and this kind of goes. This comes with fun fact, like fits the thing too, and like society hustle. I don't think we've talked about this, but like I love job interviews. I just think I'm very good at them, and I mostly like get like the call back, get like the offer, things like most of the time. But I feel like there's just a line that is just walked between like work, profession, not. I'm not even gonna say profession. Between like work ethic and just like you as a person and your vibe and your energy. And I feel like
Right.
I found a way to meet the middle very, very well on those. Then one thing I'd recommend that I always ask as the interviewee is you always have your questions like, do you have any questions? And like, yeah, you ask your three like normal good ones, and then I always have a fourth one. Those are all like my main questions, but I do have one more if you're interested. It's not really on topic, but are you guys watching anything good? And at my last job, it was like, have you guys watched the new season of Stranger Things? And one of them said yes, and then we just went into a long conversation about that, and then the other one was like, I haven't seen it, is it good? Like, yeah, and just that kind of thing too. If you can make them laugh, that's always a good one. So I'd ask something like that too. And I have one more question. Have you seen the new season of House of Dragon by chance? It's crazy. Just some just like way off the board, like
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
would that you would guess that they would have seen or know about, but if not, you can still go. Oh well, let me tell you, it's the best. Because then they might go, yeah, yeah, it was a good interview, and then he started talking about the Avalanche and like went way into that, and it was just a cool thing. And they have happy hour there too. I don't know, it seems chill. It's just that type of place is always
So
a
what
good spot to be in.
I love that. So you you really value like company culture and your ability to be yourself and the willingness of the other people there to also be themselves, right?
Mhm.
In
Yeah.
especially in an interview environment. I think that's
Yeah.
hugely important, and that's me too. Like the other engineer that I work with, like he dresses so much nicer than me. Like not suit and tie or anything crazy like
Yeah.
that, but like he cares about his appearance. He's put together. He wears like nicer clothes, and I don't care to do that. Like I'll wear like I'm not gonna wear anything crappy, but like I'll wear t-shirts, like I'll wear polos, but it's not a huge priority for myself to dress like that. I'm not comfortable. It's not me. I feel like I'm not being myself, but I don't want him to change. Like I don't want him to feel like he's overdressing, right? It's like, dude, wear
Oh
what you
yeah.
want. And I've told him that. I'm like, don't let my dress down affect how you want to dress, right? Like be
Right,
yourself.
and I feel like hearing that from your boss would just make you happy and just comfortable too.
Yeah. And you know what? He gave me good feedback the other day. He said, when you told me that whether I work for this company or not, like you are trying to help me to become the best version of myself that I can be, like he's like, that was a game changer just to know that like you actually gave a shit about me as like a person, right?
Oh yeah.
And I truly believe that. I want to bring in the best people. I want to build them up to be the best versions of themselves, both like family, fitness, professionally, all of that. And then I want to have to struggle to keep them because they have big dreams and want to keep
Oh yeah.
going, like I want that to be my biggest problem, right? Is
Yeah.
having such a good crew around me. Um, and so I think people can tell when it's genuine and not either, right?
Yeah. And I just got an idea off that. Like you could plan in your yearly schedule, like, hey, we're gonna be off this day, but don't tell anyone until like the week before. Like, hey guys, we've been crushing it. No one come in on Wednesday. Just don't. Unless you want to, but don't. I'm not coming in next Wednesday. I'm gonna hang out, but you can do whatever you want. Just to give
Yeah.
them that feeling of like, oh, what? This is so sick. Let's go.
Yeah,
Stuff
random
like that.
random days off. That's a good idea. That's
Yeah,
a good
but to
idea.
you,
Cause
it's scheduled. Like you already know, it's not random. Like this is
yeah,
scheduled, but
yeah.
yeah, yeah, you
To
know what I
them it
mean.
is. It's so many times you see employers they're out of touch, right? And it's
Mhm,
like
yeah.
it's like okay, like we're gonna have a team building event, and guess what? It's gonna be on Saturday, and you're like, no, I want to do
Yeah,
something else
yeah.
on Saturday.
That's just like no, on Saturday.
Oh, I'm not doing that. Like, give me a day off, and we'll have a team building day, I guess. But yeah, no, it's good. I appreciate the insight. Is there anything else you look for in uh, a company? Maybe it's something like once you've already like gotten on board, right? What, or it could be pay or benefits or like what's really kind of important to
I
you?
mean, having being able to make more money every year for just whenever because of performance is great because there's
Yeah,
always some motivation to work. And then feeling like I'm heard, like at my job, I can walk into Tom, that's like the owner, like the top guy's office, pretty much whenever, and be like, Tom, you're free, and he'll be in like the middle of stuff, being like, I can be 1 second. Yeah, yeah. What's up? But then I can suggest like literally whatever. I suggest that we should have tank tops to work in. I suggested that we should try to get a Caitlin Clark in one of our ads. I suggested that we should do different stuff with our social media. Oh, one thing that he was like, oh, that's cool, is I was like, yo, like, we have this calendar or this catalog that we can order like work stuff if you want to,
Yeah.
And I said it'd be cool if there was like some Nike polos and like some Carhartt stuff would be sweet. Then
Yeah.
she was, oh yeah, that would be cool. Then 3 months later, he never said anything. But I went on and saw like Nike polos, Carhartt jackets. They were like, yo, that's so sick.
Right.
And that just made me just feel so like valued. He was like, oh, that's a
Yeah.
good idea. Oh, I can do that. Sweet.
Right. But not just saying like, oh, that's a good idea, and then it doesn't go
Yeah,
anywhere. Right.
yeah.
Like
Some like
executing on it.
yeah, yeah, and like just some ideas that like he's like we can't do that, but it's still like a fun conversation because it's like yeah we can, Jesse we can that wouldn't work and like it's just like a fun conversation too. You know what I mean?
Sure. No, I love that. I like that. And I've tried to kind of structure the business in a way that is reflective of all the issues that I bitched about at my other company, right? It's like
Oh yeah,
I
that's
want to do
perfect.
things differently, right? Like I hated this, hated that. I want to do it differently. I want to create a different environment. I want to do things a different way, right?
Yeah,
And so, okay, I
yeah,
appreciate the
and
insight.
yeah, yeah, and I think the biggest thing is the fact that you're just you. Is I feel like you'll just create a good work culture by default without even trying to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is why I think you pushing me to do like to get more into social media has been huge because I think it allows one me to get out of my comfort zone and
Yeah.
let myself, like my true self, go. Like what am I into? What do I do? What am I listening to or keeping up on, you know? Um,
Hmm.
and I really think that that is a good way of attracting talent, right? If they can find you, they can go through your contact. They're kind of like pre-interviewing before they ever
Yep.
even interview, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that a lot. We are at the hour and 20 mark. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
I
All right.
it was also something I was thinking about today. Like if we're rolling, it could be it would be good to like if we end up recording for 2 or 3 hours to have like a part one, part two, part three, or
Mhm.
clip
Yeah.
them into like two or three different podcasts, right? So you can get
Yeah.
long, like they're longer form, but like you break them down into
Hmm.
smaller
Yeah.
podcast
Yeah. Because
segments.
this is so contained. Like, because my first notes are just the budget stuff here, and
Yep,
then
yep.
yeah. So this is so sick, and it's been so helpful for me. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be yes.
Yeah,
Let's
this
go.
has been it's been great. I love it.
All right. Cool. I gotta jump and Hulk, as you can see here.
He's gonna be out of that thing in no time.
Oh yeah, he's gonna bust right through it. All right, man. Well, I love you, and I will be on tonight, and I'm gonna have my MacBook connected, so we'll see how that is.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, peace,
All right,
man.
all right. Love you, brother. Roll
I love
credits.
you too.